Am I good? Am I good? Thank you, Maricos, for letting me know. Am I good now? Foxy Moon out the gate. Why did Will wait so long? I'm not buying it. I don't know. A lot of people are not buying it. There's a little bit to unpack in that apology. It's a little bit to unpack. If you guys haven't seen the apology, it is in my community section. The apology is about 5 minutes long. It's very uneventful. It's not very dramatic. It's not anything you would imagine. He answers 5 questions, questions that a lot of people were asking, like, did Jada Pinkett say something to you after she rolled her eyes? Why didn't you apologize to Chris Rock when you won your award? It's like 5 questions, very uneventful. He waited 3 months to give that apology, that official apology with his face and voice, because as you know, his publicist, I would say, released a statement on his Instagram that was BS. We already know when the publicist is talking. With that said, welcome to another episode of On the Block with Jen. I am your favorite pain in the ass out of New York, Jen. Okay, Mama's on the West Coast now, but I'm New York wherever I go. Don't forget that. So welcome, you guys. If you're here for the first time, welcome, welcome, welcome. If you're one of my regulars in the chat, good to see you here again. My ladies have their wrenches, so don't get too froggy in the chat because they will kick you through the block uprights, and I can't do anything about it. I will not go into my block list and get you out of there, okay? So tread lightly. You can disagree here. You can raise hell, but you cannot disrespect the women here. And I would suggest you don't disrespect the men because they're not going to have any mercy on you. With that said, I like for people to disagree. That is great. It's how you have a good time. We're not going to agree all the time. You're not going to agree with me. Some of the people that like me aren't going to agree with me all the time, but they are not supposed to, okay? No one's supposed to agree with anyone all the time. Y'all don't agree with your mamas all the time. So let me take care of a little business. I am on the block with Jen on Instagram. I am on the block with Jen on TikTok, on the block with Jen at Gmail. If you want to hit me up for a collab or you have a story for me that you want me to dissect and talk about regarding the collabs, it has to make sense for both me and you. We both have to benefit. I'm not here for shits and giggles. I am monetized. So we're all trying to make money on this bitch, okay? So the collab has to make sense. All right. So with that said, let's get into this, okay? I made you guys wait long enough. Just a little ginger ale. I know you guys always see me drinking water. So before I get into the what's up, everybody? Hi, what's up, Sherelle? Good to see you guys here. Before I get into the Will Smith thing, because I know that's the meat and taters, okay? But let me give y'all a little appetizer. You know, my life is very adventurous. I do a lot of odd jobs and gigs within the entertainment industries. You guys know I am an actress and a writer. And this week, I had a gig where I was judging a pageant, a beauty pageant, okay, as in toddlers and tiaras, Miss USA. So I was basically judging girls from like 5 to about 20 or 21, round about that age. And these girls are basically, they do the pre-pageant. So I was judging basically the pre-pageant. So it's kind of like a practice pageant, before you go out for the big ones like Miss USA and Miss Universe. There's something I noticed that really touched me, and I'm so happy I was there because, as you can imagine, these pageants are, disproportionately white, right? They start very, very young. These girls came in as young as 4 or 5 years old, really, really adorable, like adorable. Like you just want to put them in your pocket and feed them goldfish snacks. Just adorable. So I was judging from the ages of like 4 or 5 to 21. Disproportionately white. I was the only woman of color that was there judging. I had a white man judging on my left and a white woman judging on my right. So when, the girls of color walked in, meaning the Latinas and the Black girls, I was so happy I was there. And you notice how they light up when they walk in a room and they see somebody that they can relate to. Something that I noticed that I want to let you guys know, if you have daughters, this is very, very important because, I am a people watcher. I like to observe. I like to learn. And then I like to teach and share. If you have a daughter, it is imperative that you watch over her now more than ever, because if I'm lying, I'm flying. Every single girl that walked in there from 5, 6 all the way up to 20 have all said that social media is having a huge negative effect on their lives, where they feel like they have to be perfect. They are depressed about it. They are stressed about it. They've contemplated suicide. Okay. It's really, really bad. And all the girls said the same thing. I made it a point, because the judges could ask whatever they want, right? So I had my set of questions to ask the girls, because I like to, you know what I mean? I like to motivate, especially young women who are growing up in this hardcore society that's getting worse and worse and worse with social media. So I made sure to ask all of them about, ask them all about social media. And it was like a resounding, repetitive, it's very negative, it's depressing, I have felt bad, I've been bullied online. And these are beautiful girls. You can imagine these girls are in pageants. So these are beautiful girls from the age 4 or 5 all the way to 21. And they walked in like they had, low self-esteem. And it's like they felt, they walk in rehearsed, right? Hi, I'm Jen Garcia. I'm representing New York. And they got their sash and everything. But then I started asking those questions like, what pisses you off, Jen? Right? How do you feel on social media? And then you see, that little rehearsed thing break down, and they start thinking, right? So all of them said that they are affected by social media. People, a lot of us, even children, a lot of adults do it. Say, I don't care. That doesn't affect me. I don't care about nothing. I don't care. And it sounds really high. I don't care what people say. I don't care what people say, right? And it sounds good to say, but do you really not care what people say? It's one thing to say it, and then it's one thing to really feel it. So if you have a daughter, my advice to you is please watch over that child. Women, little girls have way more pressures on them than they used to. They're young, they're impressionable, they're growing, they're going through puberty, okay? And they're online. We didn't grow up like this, so we didn't have this type of pressure. But the suicide rate is rising, especially amongst young girls. Young boys commit more suicide, but young girls think about it more often, and now they're starting to catch up with the boys. So it's getting really, really rough out here for these teenagers. But I will say this, little boys and boys in general, teenage boys, are not going through the pressures of aesthetics that the girls are going through, okay? The pressure that I saw judging that pageant. So, it's important. Representation is so important, because when them little Latin girls and them little Black girls walked in there and they saw me and I'm talking to them about their hair and their complexion, you saw them light up. And I did it on purpose, right? I did it on purpose, because I know if you're Latin and Black and you're in any environment that's disproportionately white, you already feel a ways, right? I don't care how confident you are. These little girls came in really, really confident, but you already feel a ways. You feel outnumbered. And seeing as I was the only woman of color on the judges panel, I was very happy to be there for those girls. I took it very personally. There was a little girl that came in. She was about 6 or 7. And we asked her, what are you doing since you flew into Vegas? Because they flew in from all over. They flew in from the UK, they flew in from Australia, they flew in from all over the United States. So we had girls there from all over, right, the world. And I asked one of the little girls, what has she been doing since, she flew into Vegas, and does she like Vegas? And is it different from, back home? And she was like, yeah. And she was like, I went to the pool, but I couldn't wet my hair. And I said, why couldn't you wet your hair? And she was like, no, because my mom said it's hard to do my hair. I can't wet my hair. Little kids are honest. So she said, what her experience was. So I made sure to tell her, listen, well, when you get older, make sure you wet your hair. And then she started laughing. And I told her, because it's fun. It's fun to wet your hair. But even in that, right? Even in that, a child, right, already is being raised with the stigma of don't wet your hair because it's hard to do your hair after. Not one little white girl walked in there worried about their hair or wetting their hair. So it was important for me, even though I had them all for 3 minutes each. The toddlers were, because it was like toddlers and tiaras. The little girls, I had them for a 3-minute interview. The older girls, I had them for a 4-minute interview. So you have 3 minutes to make an impact, right, on these little girls. So I made sure to tell her, you know, while the other judges were also asking questions, I made sure to tell her, you make sure you wet your hair because it's fun. And her face lit up. And I don't think we realize the pressure and the stress that young girls of color are going through. I think we just pass down this generational shit like, oh, I can't wet my hair because it's hard to do. And then we pass it down to our little girls. So if, you know, the lesson I got from that, wet your fucking hair. Wet your hair. There are people that are, you know, 6 feet underground who wish they could run out in the rain and wet their hair. Stop raising, you know, let's stop raising our little girls with that stigma about their hair, right? We all know people say a beauty's in the eye of the beholder, and everybody's beautiful. We know that that's bullshit in this society. There is pretty privilege. I don't care how much, what you add shame to, fat shaming, hair shaming, woman shaming. It doesn't matter. You will never shame someone about shaming to the point where they do not do it. All right. There is privilege. And I always say that all of us have a privilege, right? We think privilege is synonymous with white, right? When we think privilege, we think white privilege, but that is bullshit. We all have a privilege. If you're a man, right, in an office and it's predominantly men, and you see a woman getting treated a certain way or unfair, as a man, you have that privilege to say something. If you are a sibling in a family of 5 siblings and you know you're the favorite, because that happens, and you see your sibling getting treated unfairly, it is your privilege to stand up and say, hey, it's unfair how you're treating my sibling, right? So we all have a privilege. If you have quote unquote pretty privilege and you see a girl that's not as pretty as you getting treated a certain way, or your hair is longer and she's getting teased for her hair, whatever, this could be any age. This could be any age. You have the privilege. If you have that thing that's supposed to be hot, you should use your privilege to defend that person. I'm not saying jump in front of a bullet. I'm saying we all have a certain privilege. And I felt sitting there as the only woman of color, I had the fucking privilege to let these little girls know, these little Latinas and these little Black girls, that it is okay. Okay, your ethnicity is okay, your hair is okay, and your complexion is okay. I made sure to extra tell them, okay, that they are beautiful. And I may have gave them a little extra points, I'm just saying, on the scorecard, because I feel like they're already at a disadvantage, right? They're already at a disadvantage. You're in a predominantly white competition. So I may have added a point or two, okay, for my girls. But I just wanted to share that with you because it really touched my heart, and it was really important for me, right? And I just want to put that bug in your ear. Look out for your little girls. It is getting really bad out here for them. Everybody's filtered. Everybody's photoshopping their abs and their waist, and you know what I mean? So look out for your little girls. You don't know what they're thinking. You may say, hey, how was your day? And they're like, I'm fine, Mom. I'm fine, Dad. And that's not really how they are feeling or thinking. Take them out. Go take them ice cream. Take them to the park. Take them for a walk, and really get in their head, okay? And talk about society. Talk about what's going on social media. Make sure they feel good, and let them wet their hair. Let them wet their hair, okay? that really hurt me. And that little girl was like, I'm in Vegas. I'm in the pool, and Mom won't let me wet my hair, okay? I get it. Our hair is hard to handle. Let your babies wet their hair. Por Dios, let your babies wet their hair. Okay, guys. So that's just something that touched me during the week, and I wanted to share that with you guys. Okay, so let's move on to the celebrities and bullshit. Okay. I don't know if you guys saw before Will Smith, I gotta touch on this Kevin Hart thing. What's up, Necessary Evil? I love to see my ladies come in. What's up, Eso? Haven't seen you in a while. Kevin Hart recently, you may or may not have seen, it's not like it went viral, but there's a video of him talking about ego, right? And how his culture, he was like, our culture is the worst with this. We let egos get in the way. And, you can't name one band that's still together, a Black band that's still together. Like, name me one band that hasn't broken up. I don't know what Kevin Hart's talking about regarding that, because there are a lot of white bands and Latin bands and Asian bands that have broken up. Them cats from England broke up. When it's new money, things happen. People get money, people get fame. Some people get more attention than others, and ego hits everybody. It's not culture, specific. It's not race specific. It's not gender specific. We've seen girl groups break up. We've seen guy groups break up. And then we've seen groups that are still together to this day, right? New Edition is still together. They came back full circle. The Eagles, that band has had issues. The Rolling Stones have had issues. All these bands have had issues, right? But Kevin Hart was talking to two other people in some interview. And he was just basically saying that, it's all about ego. Like, so when I'm making a deal, like, if it's Dwayne Johnson, The Rock, if it's Dwayne Johnson, right, he calls me and he's like, hey, I'm doing this. Would you like to join? Like, we don't have ego. Me and Dwayne Johnson, we don't have an ego, So it's important not to have an ego. And if Chappelle's doing something and I say, if I can help my company and we could, we have no ego. We have no ego. And that's how you got to be in this business. Like, why does our culture have so much ego? And then, that gets in the way. So I'm going to call a little cap. Okay? Because all those guys in that business at that level, they all have egos. It's actually important to have a huge ego when you are up there, right? Because you need it, right? You need it. So my opinion about that, I don't know if you guys have seen it, but my opinion was Kevin Hart doesn't have an ego with people he can't flex on. He can't flex on Chappelle, and he can't flex on Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. So I call a little cat because he was talking about people he can't have an ego with. You can't be Kevin Hart and have an ego with Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. You can't be Kevin Hart and have a fucking ego with Dave Chappelle. You cannot. He's new money. So, I think because Kevin Hart is new money, he doesn't understand that bands, black, white, yellow, and brown, they break up every day, B. Like, bands break up every day. But according to Kevin Hart, it's his culture, and black people let ego get in the way. And that's why black bands break up. There are a lot of black bands that are still together. If you go way back from the 50s and 60s, a lot of those cats are still on stage doing their thing. So it sounds to me like he didn't have knowledge of it or didn't care to, and was trying to say, like, we up here, me and Dwayne Johnson and me and Dave Chappelle, we don't have egos. You can't have an ego with them. But let a subordinate or somebody Kevin Hart sees as a subordinate or somebody that worked for him step to him about something, and you will see ego fly straight out of his ass and consume the room. Okay, he can't have ego. That's why I call cap. You can't have ego with The Rock or Chappelle. You know better. Okay, you know better. But I've watched Kevin Hart's doc series on Netflix, I believe, and there's a scene where he's really chewing the head off his personal trainer. I don't know if you guys saw it, but there's a scene where he's chewing his head off and telling him all kinds of crazy shit, telling his trainer, if it wasn't for me, you wouldn't be in that house you in. I paid for that house. Like, really, really emasculating him and humiliating him. I think that's the real Kevin Hart. I think that's Kevin Hart. That's Kevin Hart when he feels like he got more than you and he's better than you. And that shit was a candid moment. It was not staged. It was behind the scenes footage. And he got in that trainer's ass, okay? Literally told this trainer, if it wasn't for me, you and your wife would not be in that house. His words, not mine. You can see it. The docuseries is on Netflix, I believe. It's still spinning. It's 4 parts. But you saw nothing but ego around his family and his dad and people asking him for money. It was ego, 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 ego. So although it sounds great and it's a great message that, the less ego you have with your peers, the more you can accomplish, okay? Because there is a message there. The less ego you have with your peers, right? The more you can accomplish together. I totally agree with him, but I call cap that he doesn't have an ego. He doesn't have an ego with people that are equal or better or more than him, but he has plenty ego for people he feels are beneath them. And if you don't fucking believe me, watch that doc series on Netflix. You're probably gonna hate him after, okay? So I just wanted to bring that up because it's something that I saw on my timeline and a lot of people sharing it. Like, look what he said, and everybody's like, yeah. I was like, that motherfucker has plenty ego. Come on, and he has Napoleon syndrome. I'm like, stop the cat. All right, guys. So let's get into this And I'll drop the link if you want. I'm not doing 3 hours tonight, okay? Yesterday was really, really yummy. The vibe was so dope, and I went longer than I wanted to, but it was worth it. It was a good time. But tonight, I'm not going past 2 hours, and I want to cook, okay? Mama cooks. I want to cook. I want a home cooked meal tonight, so I'm going to cook. So let's get into this Will Smith thing. If you haven't seen it, it is in my community tab. Again, thank you for being here with me. Welcome, everybody. If you're here for the first time, hola, me llamo Jen. Welcome to Sesame Street. And if you guys already know me, like the back of your hand, what's up, what's up? Ladies, you already know what to do with your wrenches. Let's have a good time. I like having a good time on my channel. We can argue, debate. We could scream. I don't mind people screaming. Some people are more passionate than others. I may scream. I don't give a fuck. Screaming doesn't bother me. Cursing doesn't bother me. Passion doesn't bother me. Disrespect does. So tread lightly in the chat. Yeah? Yeah. So this apology. Oh, man. I think this is... I think too much, too little, too late, in my opinion, just my humble opinion, right? I am aware it is not my apology to accept, right? Although Will Smith did address the people he let down, his fans and what have you. So obviously he's looking for the apology to be accepted by more than Chris Rock. Right. I still say it's not my apology to accept because, again, I'm not the one making these celebrities rich. Right. So if you guys are invested and if you bought tickets to their movies or you buy their albums, you guys are invested. It's like you put your vote in on this person when you trick money off to their empire. Right. I'm not a huge Will Smith fan. So it's like, oh, my God, he's in a movie. I got to run and see it. If it's on, I'm going to watch if it's interesting. Right. So I guess it depends on how invested you are in Will Smith, whether or not you feel like you're entitled to, accept or not accept his apology. But he does want the public to accept it along with Chris Rock, right? Which makes sense because the public, right, puts money in his pockets. So I saw the apology. I'll tell you what I thought about it, including body language, including voice, inflections. It looked disingenuous. It looked disingenuous to me. I didn't think it was sincere because I feel like, you guys love the word accountability, right? I feel like he didn't hold himself accountable. He still described what he did as a mistake. And one thing I loathe about people apologizing is when they call a decision a mistake. Okay? It's like a second slap. There are decisions, and then there are, oh, I'm sorry, excuse me, I dropped your phone. I'm sorry, let me help you with that. That's a mistake. That's a mistake. Oh, I'm sorry. Oh my God, I spilled your drink. Oh, I'm sorry. Let me get you another drink. I'm sorry. I don't know what's wrong with me. I just bumped into you. I'm so sorry. That's a mistake. What Will Smith did was a decision. It was a decision. He chose to sit there, then stand up, then walk across the stage, then slap Chris Rock, then turn around, then sit down like he was the big head nigga in charge. Okay? Then go up there, accept an award, not apologize to everyone but the person he assaulted, and then also decided not to go home. Like, oh my God, what the fuck did I just do? I just assaulted Chris Rock on a global stage. No. Then he made another decision to go to the after party and dance with his Oscar in his hand, dance on tables, dance to music. All of that were decisions. Those were decisions. Mistakes make you feel bad. Mistakes make you feel bad because it wasn't your intention to hurt somebody or drop their cup or lose their keys or lock the keys in the car, right? Or bump into them. Mistakes make you feel bad because that wasn't your intention. They make you feel bad. You're like, oh my God, I'm sorry. And the apology is immediate. So this man waited 3 months to give us 5 minutes of bullshit. It was more Will Smith jerking himself. And then he starts going into this pseudo therapy diagnosis of himself, because again, it's about Will and what Will's going through. So in my opinion, he could have saved the fucking apology. He didn't talk about what Chris Rock may have been going through. He didn't talk about the humiliation. He didn't talk about the emasculating that happened on that stage. He spoke about what makes Will feel bad. And Will made sure to say, what about one of the 5 questions he asked himself and answered himself? But, he was like, what's questions that people had in mind? How do you feel about letting people down? Well, he might as well have said his fucking name and spoken third person. Well, it makes me feel bad to let people down. It's my trauma. It's my trauma to make, it's like, feel sorry for me. It's the same exact fucking way he was acting on Oscar night when people swarmed in to help him and see if he was okay, while Chris Rock was backstage with a crook in his neck because he almost got his block knocked off. It's everybody. Let's find out what Will's going through. Come on, gather around. Will, are you okay? How are you feeling, Will? I know you assaulted someone, but Will, are you okay? It's trauma. What's your trauma, baby? You got heavy weights, coddling and comforting this motherfucker where the assault happened. Denzel Washington. Well, when you're at the top, the devil's going to come for you. No, Denzel. No. I swear if the devil was real, he'd be sitting somewhere like, I ain't have nothing to do with that. Why the fuck y'all always including me? I guarantee the devil's somewhere sitting there like, what the fuck? Why y'all always, what do I got to do with it? No, Denzel, respectfully, sir. When you get to the top, the only thing that comes for you is your fucking ego and your entitlement. And your network of asshole friends that think you could do no wrong. Can we just be clear? Can y'all rock with me for a minute? New levels, new devils. No! Well, when you're on top, that's when the devil comes for you. No! When you on top, what comes for you is your fucking new entitlement, your fucking ego, and the power that you have. It has nothing to do with the devil. The devil is you. The devil is you. Let's be clear, Denzel, respectfully, sir. Mr. Magnificent, best actor we've ever seen. The devil is you, sir. But I notice when men who have a lot of transgressions and violate their wife and have a career where they're hotter than hell is, and they cheat, they get to this old age and they become very self-righteous, right? And their theme becomes forgiveness, right? So when they see someone else acting the monkey ass fool like Will Smith did, they start throwing God and the devil in it because they're self-righteous and they've been forgiven over and over and over. And if you notice, Denzel, respectfully, who I adore, who I admire, when he's on stage winning awards now, he's like, Pauletta, you put up with so much. You put up with this. You put up with that. We know what that's code for. We're not stupid. We know what that's code for. That's the good old, you're a good old chip off the old block. Look at you. You suffering, loving, ride or die. No matter what I did, you were there for me. Men get real poetic when they got that doormat of a partner. You ride or die. We've seen a couple of them do it. We've seen Cool J do it. You know what I mean? We've seen Denzel do it. DJ Envy, right? When they got that woman that puts up with them crusty drawers, them drawers that got juices from some other woman, right? Men get real poetic in their old age, right? So that's all that was. That's all that was. Denzel coming with, the devil came for you. It was the devil. And then, people are coddling him and hugging him. After he assaulted somebody, Chris Rock is backstage. Okay? Chris Rock is backstage with a whiplash, but it's all about Will, are you okay? So this apology, he goes on to say that he reached out to Chris Rock, letting us know that he reached out, but Chris Rock said, I'm not ready to talk to you. I have nothing to say. And when I'm ready, I'll reach out. So again, to me, it's twisting the knife that he already put in Chris Rock's back. Why? Because now you're making him look like he's being unreasonable. Like you reached out to apologize and Chris is being unreasonable. He said he don't want to talk to you and he wants to talk to you, he'll reach out. And then he circles back to his trauma. How the fuck are you apologizing to me? But explain to me your trauma. How does that even work? How does that even work? How do you come to apologize to me, but you're telling me your fucking trauma? And people are like, no, but listen, Will said himself, it's the first paragraph in his book. When he was little, his father busted his mama in the mouth and he felt so helpless. He couldn't do anything. That's why he's so unstable and shook. He felt like he's just a little boy. Just a little boy. By that, with that logic, we should all be serial killers. We should all be serial killers. All of us. Oh, you had trauma when you were a child? If you are here listening to me, you've had trauma as a child and in your teen years, maybe even your 20s, all of us, everybody's seen some shit that was like, whoa, blew us away. And you're like, this is what adulting is. Y'all are weird. Y'all are scary. I don't want to be in this family. I don't want to be around these friends. Y'all are crazy. All of us, right? So what blows my mind is that every time one of these fucking pretentious, obnoxious, egotistical, narcissistic fucks up, but Kanye, he hasn't been the same since his mama died. You gotta understand, the man lost his mama 20 years ago. Still affecting him to this day. Lost his mama, right? That is what we do. So the apology to me was just a bigger shovel. I feel like he's digging himself deeper and deeper, but it's business. He got the Slave movie coming out. I forgot the Bad Boy got pushed back. The Bad Boys with him and Martin Lawrence got pushed back. I forgot some other shit he got coming out. He just got $35 million on some shit got pushed back. So it's business. I understand why he had to come out and apologize. It's business. I get it. Another way I see he's still twisting the knife in Chris Rock's back is that he was saying in no way, shape, or form. Like it was the epitome of a backhanded, you know how they say backhanded compliment? It was a backhanded apology, right? Because he goes, in no way, listen to this. In no way, shape, or form do I think what I did, right, was the way you handle a feeling of disrespect or insult. You see what I just did there? In no way, shape, or form do I think that slapping you is the way to handle you insulting me and you disrespecting me. Did you see what I just did there? So I'm still putting the blame on you, because had it not been for that insult and that disrespect, you wouldn't have got slapped. But I don't think it's the right way to handle it. But I'm just saying, had you not disrespected me and insulted me, I wouldn't have handled it like that. So a comedian that didn't even write the fucking joke, who compared, let's be clear, your wife's haircut, because it's a haircut. Jada Pinkett's head is not bald. It is not alopecia to the point where she's bald, don't got no eyebrows, don't got no hair, don't got no underhair, don't got no pussy. She's not that. She has a teeny little strip that she showed you on her own video. I got a little strip right here, which is undetectable, unnoticeable, unless the scallywag tells you, oh, look, you cannot see it. The naked eye cannot see it unless she tells you, like just like she did in her Instagram video, look at the little line right here. I have a little line of alopecia. And you, oh, you do, I see it. Okay. So she was bald. It was a joke, very clearly comparing her haircut. It was a buzz cut like Jada always does. We know Jada to take her hair off or to have short hair. We know her to be that way, right? Her style. It was a fucking joke where Chris Rock compared her haircut, not her alopecia, not her alopecia, where he compared her haircut to Demi Moore's haircut in G.I. Jane. Yet Will Smith is still categorizing it as disrespect and insult. And let me say something to you alopecia people. Let me be clear, because a lot of people who have alopecia, oh, I'm glad that so much attention is being brought to alopecia now. I'm so happy you know that I'm bald now and what the condition is. So let me say this, and I'm going to say this clearly. If you have alopecia and you think that a man being assaulted was okay because it brought attention to your condition, fuck you and fuck off. You heard it here first. Because I'm seeing people online saying, oh, well, that's good because now people know about our alopecia. Why the fuck do I have to know why you're bald? Why do I have to know that? Awareness. Why do I have to know? Why do I have to be aware that you're fucking bald? Why do I have to be aware? It's alopecia awareness. So now you know. So a man had to get assaulted for you to get attention because you're bald-headed. Make it make sense. There are children dying. Okay? Terminal illnesses, never coming back. You heard of Make-A-Wish Foundation? Never coming back. Dying. Little kids, little babies, 5, 6-year-olds, little kids dying. There are children being sex trafficked as I speak to you right now. There are children being sex trafficked right now as I speak to this camera. And you motherfuckers, you need to be aware of my bald head. And because Jada, and because Will Smith slapped Chris Rock, now you all know why I'm bald-headed. And I'm so happy. Fuck you and fuck off. If you think that a man being assaulted is the way we should have all been made aware of your bald head, that shit is foul. That shit is foul. That's like somebody kills somebody and you have diabetes and they say on the news that you had diabetes and had a sugar attack and killed somebody, and now we all know about diabetes. Now we're all aware of diabetes because a man died. Y'all sound stupid. Y'all sound fucking stupid. There are things that are going on this in this world that are so much more important than some wealthy bald-headed scallywag sitting in the front row at the Oscars in her $5,000-$10,000 fucking gown with a tiny strip that is unnoticeable unless she gets at her red table and tells you, look, I got a little strip. You can see, can you see it? Zoom the camera and bring the camera in so they can see it. Can you see it? Can you see it? It's terrible. Oh wait, my imported water is here. Give me a minute. I'll be right back. So the apology again to me was bullshit. It was more Will Smith telling you, buy my book, watch my movies. My bad, y'all. He still looked stoic. He still looked like he had a problem, you know what I mean, with apologizing. He still categorized what Chris Rock did as an insult. It was a fucking joke about a haircut. It was not a fucking joke about alopecia. Your wife, sir, is not even bald. So it seems to me like their toxic marriage just exploded on everybody. And they want people, well, I would say Will, because Jada don't give a fuck about nothing. Okay? And Will wants everyone to feel sorry that he was a little boy and his mama got punched in the mouth and he couldn't do it. He wants everybody to feel his pain. Like he wants it. In his apology, he's explaining to you what his psychological diagnosis was. Even the words he uses in the apology. Well, you know, my trauma is people, me disappointing people. It's my trauma. That's my trauma. How do we know what trauma Chris Rock has? How do we know what he saw growing up as a little kid? How do we know if violence is something that fucks him up? Like, why do we keep talking about your fucking condition? That's what pisses me off. Why do we keep talking about your fucking condition when you're the one that assaulted someone else? Why is it still about you even 3 months fucking later? Why is it about you and your family 3 months fucking later? Then he apologizes to Tony Rocco. That was my boy. You know, I'm sure this is irreparable. And I want to apologize to Chris Rock's mom because I saw her, you know, she did a video. So I want to apologize to her. And I want to apologize to Jada, you know, and my kids. No. Because after the Oscar slap, your son, Jaden Smith, tweeted, okay, yeah, that's how we do. So this is how I would have believed the apology. If you, that bald-headed scallywag you married to, and both your kids were there, and Jaden apologized for that tweet, and you apologized without your psychological fucking report, and that scallywag apologized for laughing after she saw Chris Rock get assaulted, because that's even on video when she laughed, then I would believe it. You coming up, answering 5 questions in 5 minutes, and then signing off, I don't believe it. But again, not my apology to accept. I don't uphold these people. I don't see them as more than what they are. These motherfuckers have jobs. Acting is a job. I can tell you, I show up to set, I give my lines, I get paid, I go home. It's a job. But for some reason in this country, celebrities they're gods. They're higher than gods. They're higher than religion, right? But it's a fucking job. Like, I don't know how people don't understand acting, singing, modeling. It's just a job. It's literally just a job. Like being a mailman, like being a plumber. It's just you show up to set and there's a camera in your face and you have to memorize some shit. It's a job. It's just a job. Right? Will Smith, at the end of the day, his ass stinks too. Right? But for some reason, these people are upheld like, oh my God, it's, you know what I mean? Oh my God. And that's another thing that I'm seeing. That's another thing I'm seeing where people are like, oh, wow, I hope they work this out. I love both Chris Rock and Will Smith. I hope they can find a happy medium. What the fuck is wrong with you people? Do you know that sometimes it's just better to throw people into the river of forget and watch their asses float all the way down and let the river take them? They do not need to know each other. Like Will Smith and Chris Rock do not need a friendship. They don't need to mend anything. They can just go on about their fucking ways in their business. What is this kumbaya shit y'all got going on? What is that about? What is that about? That's why you waste so much time on toxic people, because you think everybody should be saved and forgiven and, oh, man. I'll come here. What is that about? Like Chris Rock doesn't have to accept that apology. He could go on with his life, his girlfriend, his kids, live a happy life, keep working, keep doing his thing. And Will could do the same. Will could do the same. And it's going to be okay. No one's going to give a fuck. You're going to get up tomorrow and go to work. But this, oh, I hope they work it out. I like them both so much. You weren't thinking about Chris Rock and Will Smith as a unit until Will Smith assaulted him. Y'all wasn't thinking about, oh my God. You acting like it's Tia and Tamara Mowry breaking up or something. Oh, I hope they work it out. Oh, I like both these guys. You were never thinking about both these guys as a unit. What is that about? Move the fuck on. And some things are not repairable with an apology. Some things are not repairable with forgiveness. Religion has some of you people in a fucking chokehold. You don't always have to forgive and forget. You can fucking forget. You humiliated me. You emasculated me. You disrespected me. I had to explain to my kids. I got to explain to my woman. I got to have these conversations with my siblings. I got to have this conversation with my mom. I'm a meme forever. I had a career for decades that was free of controversy. And you made me the laughing stock of the fucking world. Those memes are forever. That video is forever. The fact that I didn't hit you back is forever. It's forever. Some things are not mended with an apology. They're just not. Some things are so fucked up that you're like, you know what? I'm good. For the rest of my life, I'm good. You go your way, I go my way, and it's okay. I'm good. Because what you did was too much. It was just too much. And there were so many other things that you could have done instead of what you did. So I'm just tired of seeing that he should forgive him and they should and write jokes together and hold hands and skip through a little yard of lilies together. Are y'all serious? Y'all watch too many movies. Is it the rom-com that y'all watching? I don't understand. Chris Rock should never speak to that motherfucker again. Ever. And be okay with it and move on. And he should go on with his bad marriage for life, right? Because that's how Jada and him described their marriage. He should go on with the scallywag and just go on with your bad marriage for life, okay? And your kids trying to cope with being rich and trying to be cool at the same time. Just, y'all go on. Y'all do your little red table talk, circle jerk, and move the fuck on. Stop apologizing, even though I know you got to apologize so people can buy tickets to your movies. But Chris Rock should move on. Y'all should move on. Y'all should go on with your lives the way it was prior to. Y'all weren't buddies. Chris Rock and Will Smith. I want them to work it out. Like both of them. Like, move the fuck on. Some people do too much. Y'all better start cutting people off. Some people do too fucking much. Some things there is no coming back from. And I'm sorry, but that shit's one of them. That's one of them. And I would even say if that shit happened backstage, away from everybody, it would have been better. Still fucked up, but it would have been better. Because Chris Rock now, his legacy includes that emasculation. It includes those memes. It includes the jokes. It includes you didn't fight back. It includes you came back to work after you got slapped like a bitch to finish your job and with the motherfucker still in the front fucking row looking at you. After he slapped you like a bitch, now he's sitting there looking at you. And you had to finish your shift. As a man who is otherwise seen as a powerful mogul in the business. That's how Chris Rock has always been looked at. And now you sitting up there like a bitch on a stick And you got to continue telling jokes with the motherfucker who slapped you like a bitch sitting front row with the bald-headed scallywag next to him for Baltimore. No, there's no coming back from that. And then you're going to apologize 3 months later. What the fuck is wrong with y'all? 3 months later for that half-ass apology. 3 months. I've been thinking for 3 months. I've been thinking for 3 months about what happened and what I did. And, you know, it took me 3 months. I was just so, I did my yoga. I flew my helicopter. I don't know. I vacationed in Dubai. I went shopping. 3 months. It was really hard for me. I was just, you know, I closed the $35 million deal on the slavery movie. It was just, it took me 3 months. And that's what he came back with. Pues no. So another interesting thing he said, and then I'll open up the panel, you guys, and you guys can respond to anything I said from the beginning of the show to now. Another thing I said, and this is how I know he's full of shit. He said, I'm trying to deal with this. I'm trying to show remorse without being ashamed. Again, more diagnoses from his psychiatrist. Like everything he said, you could literally hear it came out of a shrink's mouth. Will, you can show remorse without feeling ashamed of yourself. You made a mistake. Sounds like his mama talking to him, the little bald-headed scallywag talking to him, and his shrink talking to him. Doesn't even sound like him. Doesn't even sound like he's talking. I want to show remorse without feeling ashamed of myself because it was a mistake. And people make mistakes. What do you think, Will? What do you think about what you did? What do you think? Without the diagnosis, without the scallywag who don't give 2 fucks about you. It's obvious Jada's in that marriage. She resents him to the core. You can tell by how she talks to him and their interactions in the bad marriage for life, right? You can tell she resents the motherfucker. Lots of women stay with men and they resent the fuck out of them. Because it's too much, it's too complicated to get a divorce. But you're not going to tell me a woman who married a man who was well aware that the only reason he came after her is because his other wife didn't fucking want him. Okay, but it's Will Smith, so you're not going to say no to Will Smith. And the way they met, like he was supposed to holler at her. He went to go take her out, and then he saw Cherie, the chick that he did marry. He said, whoa, who that? He was literally on his way, his words, not mine. Y'all can look it up in the fucking Red Table Talk because, you know, they spill their fucking guts all over that table. He went to take Jada out. He saw Cherie, said, who is that? Got with that. Married that. Had a kid with that. And that couldn't take him anymore and said, I want out. And then he spun the block for Jada. And all of this is public knowledge. You're going to tell me that that chick doesn't resent that man? But when Will Smith calls and says, who you seeing? I'm seeing nobody. You seeing me now? Well, you have to answer the call. It's Will Smith after all. Who cares that he spun the block because the other chick didn't want him? It's Will Smith. Now you got to live in this man's shadow because his personality, his money, his clout, his business is larger than life. Now you got to live in this man's shadow and push 2 kids out for him. But you'll never be just Jada Pinkett. You'll be Jada Pinkett Smith, right? And they call their marriage the bad marriage for life, right? So in my opinion, it was not a sincere apology. He could give a good fuck. He still feels justified. You can tell the way he was talking. He still feels justified. And to say that I'm trying to show remorse without feeling shame, without being ashamed. You know what? When you fuck up, you should feel ashamed. You should feel it to the fucking core because that's what changes behavior. You coddling somebody, well, don't feel ashamed, baby. You could feel remorse without feeling ashamed. No, you have to feel that shame to the fucking core. When you violate somebody, when you betray somebody, when you cheat on somebody, when you let your family down, when you let your friends down, you gotta sit in that fucking shame. You gotta sit in it and be like, I fucked up. How can somebody show remorse without feeling ashamed about what they did? Those two things don't go together. How do you feel remorse without feeling ashamed? Isn't feeling the shame what makes you remorseful? I mean, I'm no shrink. But when I've fucked up, I felt shame. I felt like, yo, you a fuck up. Why did you do that? That's what I'm feeling. When I've violated people, I'm like, yo, dang. You look at yourself in the mirror, you're ashamed. You're like, why the fuck did I do that? Why did I do that? Why did I do that? And then the apology is immediate. It's almost a desperation because you hurt somebody. You don't go partying after the violation. You don't go on stage and cry about winning an award and apologize to everyone else but the person you violated. And then you don't wait 3 months more. You don't wait 3 months more to apologize to that person. Am I saying too much? Am I off base here, chat? Am I off base? Can it be a sincere apology? Am I putting too much sugar in the grits? That's right. I like sugar in my grits. To hell with you shrimp and salt people. Am I putting too much sugar in the grits? Am I putting too much on it? Can he be sincere? Am I reading too much into it? You can rebut, you can disagree, but that's what I saw. How does this man say, I'm trying to feel remorse without feeling ashamed? No, motherfucker, you should feel ashamed. It was a shameful act. It was embarrassing. It was humiliating. You should feel shame until you get sick and then come out and then make a sincere apology. But I really think is that they blew smoke up his ass with, don't feel ashamed, Will. And that's why the apology looks half-assed. That's why the apology looks half-assed, because he feels no shame. And how can you truly apologize to somebody if you're not ashamed of what you did? When that is normal, it's natural. When we fuck up, when we betray people, when we, whatever it is, we feel ashamed. We like, yo, I feel ashamed that I have to come to you and apologize because I fucked up. But he's sitting there stoic as will ever, even giggled a little bit. Well, did Jada say something to me after she rolled her eyes? No. Sorry, babe. She did it. Sorry, I pulled my family into this. Sorry. What kind of fucking apology is that? Stick that apology up your ass and go do your fucking movies. And we're all going to watch. If we're bored and we're interested or the trailer is good, we're going to fucking watch anyway. So relax, Will. We're going to fucking watch anyway, asshole. That's how life is. If you got idiots out here still singing to pedophile music, still talking about step in the name of love, knowing that he raped 12-year-olds and 14-year-olds and married 15-year-olds, if motherfuckers are still believing they could fly, they'll go watch your fucking movies. Like, we're not going to banish you from the kingdom because you assaulted Chris Rock. We're not going to banish you. We're still going to watch the fucking hokey ass movies you do. We're still going to watch. You're Will Smith. You're motherfucking Will Smith. And you didn't violate a child and you didn't violate a woman. Those are my deal breakers. You didn't violate a child and you didn't violate a woman. You still fucked up because you bullied somebody. But we'll still watch your fucking movies. Motherfuckers are still stepping in the name of love. We'll watch your shit. But the apology, in my opinion, was fugazi. It was Will being Will. And I'm surprised because I think he's a good actor. So I'm surprised that he couldn't give us a better act. And that, to me, proves even more that he don't give a fuck. Because somebody who gave a fuck, we see it on the stand. We see it during trials. Motherfuckers get up there and they cry even without the tears. They give you the dry cry. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry that I did that. And they'll squeeze their face up. No tears coming out. But they give you that on the stage. He didn't even give us that. And he's a good fucking actor. We all seen Pursuit of Happiness, okay? He didn't even care to put on a fucking act. He was stoic. He spoke about his psychological diagnosis, who he violated, gave a shout out to Tony Rock. And if you notice during the apology, he stays away from talking about Chris Rock. He kind of gives Chris Rock an honorable mention where he's like, I apologize. Chris, since you didn't want to take my call, I just want to know, where's the camera? Is this camera A? I just want you to know that I apologize for what I did. I apologize to you. And then if you notice during the 5-minute apology, he doesn't really mention Chris Rock much after that. He goes into the whole spiel about his diagnosis and what he's going through and his trauma and what his trauma is when he disappoints people and Jada and his children and, gives a mention to Tony Rock. But he stays away from the person he violated. Like you can still see that I'm apologizing because I'm going to stay away from this. That whole 5 minutes should have been about Chris Rock and his mother and Chris Rock's family and his children. You mentioned your children. You apologized to your children, one of which said, yeah, that's how we do. After he saw you assault a man, he wasn't even concerned. He wanted to let Twitter world know, yeah, that's how the Smiths do. The whole 5 minutes, Sherelle, it's on my community tab, the community page. The whole 5 minutes should have been about Chris Rock's state of mind, how he humiliated him, how he emasculated him, how he apologized for making him a laughing stock. I mean, I could have did the apology and I didn't even do the smack. He ain't got nobody in his corner that says you got to hit these points because this is what's most important. No, he goes into a spiel about his diagnosis and what his trauma is. And, he apologizes for the disrespect and the insult that he felt happened. He barely addresses Chris Rock. That's how you know it was fugazi. But, I'll watch Bad Boys 4 or 5 if it's funny. I mean, I don't find them as funny as they used to be. But if it's good, I'll watch the slavery movie, you know what I mean? Because that picture, we've been seeing it for many years. It's the man with his back to the camera, and he has like really, really big scars from being whipped. He's doing that man's life story. I'm curious about that because we've seen that meme for many years online. So I want to know his story. So I watched that. We'll still watch the movies, but he's full of shit. And I want to end with this. As I drop the link so you guys can come up, I'll end with this. Oops. Let me get the link. I'm gonna end with this. There's a funny thing that goes on. I dropped the link for whoever wants to come up. And then I'm gonna look. Yes, Amber Heard did do a better job, Don Levon. She sure did. She sure did. She was like, I'm gonna put all my acting chops on this. There's a funny thing that people do that happens with celebrities. I don't think you guys can fathom that a lot of celebrities, they're human. They are fuck-ups. They are assholes. They're egotistical. They're narcissistic, right? If you had a narcissistic person at your job or a narcissistic person, family member, or narcissistic romantic partner, you'd call that out. You'd be like, you a narcissistic bitch. It's always about you. You're selfish, right? We've all met those people. Can I get an atheist amen? We've all met those narcissistic, selfish motherfuckers where we're like, damn, you an asshole. And I don't think that because these people make you laugh, they have sitcoms, they have movies, they sing good songs, for some reason, it doesn't compute in your head that it's possible that these motherfuckers could be egotistical, asshole, narcissistic, selfish son of a bitches. Like, it doesn't compute to you. It doesn't compute that they could be sexually assaulting children. It doesn't compute to you that they could be cheaters and robbing artists of money. It doesn't compute to you. It doesn't compute to you. When these motherfuckers are human and ruthless, because you have to be ruthless to be successful and climb in any industry. You have to be ruthless. So when Kelis was saying, yeah, Beyonce and Pharrell, they stealing shit. Impossible. I liked Lemonade. I like Who Runs the World. Not Beyonce. Single ladies. There's no way that woman could steal anything from anybody. That's how y'all brains work. And that's why y'all got fucked in the ass when you realize, oh shit, this is what really happened behind the scenes. I know people in this industry who know people in this industry and have seen firsthand the shit that I know of some household names that you know, you would not fucking believe. But it's not my business to tell. It's not my business to tell. But the shit that I know about the people that you know would probably shock you. So I'm telling you, as someone that has firsthand experience and knows people who've talked to me for 2, 3, 4 hours because they needed to vent about the business or a family member or a spouse. I know some things. But for some reason, because a motherfucker makes you laugh in a sitcom or has that song that you made love to, you just can't fathom that there's this motherfucking asshole, a tyrant in the booth on the microphone. You can't fathom it. It's impossible. I grew up on the Cosby Show. I can't. There's no way. This impossible. Not Beyonce. Honey. Not my B. Not Pharrell. Not the man that produced Because I'm Happy. I refuse to believe he stole anything. That's how y'all think. These are just people. They're just people. And even being in the business, I'm going to keep saying that. They're just fucking people. They're just people. They're just people. And social media killed the mystery of the star. Killed it. Because now we get to see firsthand how these celebrities look, walk, and talk and really feel. And how they really think. It killed the mystery of the celebrity. Not everybody's a celebrity. If you have a social media account, and now you're a celebrity too. We're all independent contractor celebrities. All of us, everybody. We all have a following. We all have everybody in the chat, everybody. If you got an Instagram, everybody's a celebrity. Everybody got fans now. Everybody, all of us. Now we're all even. If I want to talk to Michael B. Jordan, I just slide in his DMs. We're all even. We're all here. We're all here together. Killed the mystery of it. So I don't know why people keep thinking that celebrities are different, that they are beyond reproach, that there's no way they can rape and kill and steal. There's just no way. Because I like that album much too much. There's just no way the person that made that album is stealing anything. There's no way the man that slayed in pursuit of happiness could be a stone cold bastard. There's just no way. I cried during the pursuit of happiness. There's no way he wouldn't give an apology that's sincere. Not the Fresh Prince. It's crazy to me, which I think of celebrities. These are just people. They're just on your TV. What's up, Haran Demarcus?
Hello, ma'am. How are you?
I'm really good. Good to see you.
Hey, first of all, leave Malcolm X out of this.
You said Malcolm X?
Yes, leave Malcolm X out of this. I was talking about Denzel earlier. The man's a national treasure.
He is. Oh, I'm not disagreeing with you. No, sir. No, sir. He is a national treasure. That, for the record, Denzel Washington, he is a national treasure, but he's a man. It's just a man.
Okay.
He's a man first.
And yeah, he he had a few transgressions. These are things that I was told firsthand. Yeah, he's had a few moments.
Did you see the
Uh,
apology?
yes, I did.
All right, so give it to me. What you think? Because I need to talk to people who saw the apology. Guys, if you want to run real quick, if you haven't seen the apology, it's on my community page. Just go to my community tab. It is there. Scroll down. It is there. It is 5 minutes. What do you
Well,
think? I'm not putting too much on it. You can
first
tell
of
me if
all,
I'm wrong.
I mean,
You're gonna be wrong that I'm wrong, but you can still tell me I'm wrong.
first of all, I have a few things that I want to say about it. I still said what I said about Will. And the first thing we got to look at it is like, I mean, come on. I mean, there was lighting in the video in the video. I mean, there was makeup. There was he had very trusting, cool colors on. He had brown on. He had white. He had very pure. There's purity in the video going on. There were no dark colors. There were no muted tones. It was very inviting, and he looked very trusting.
Well,
He didn't
listen,
even look.
they had that $35,000 lens on that camera.
Oh
Okay.
yes, they did. Yes,
Okay.
they did. So I mean, it was for what it was. It was a performance. Now, whether or not you believe the performance, or whether or not you wanted to hear the performance, it's up to you. But I will say this. I
And
will
even
say
the
this.
intro, wasn't the intro dramatic? It was like, ooh, the
Yes.
little side, the little voices and the blur. I was
Yeah.
like, this is gonna be good.
Yeah.
It's gonna be good. And then
It
it was
was. Well, I will say this: Will Smith is a cautionary tale, and I think one point is being missed. That I tell people all the time: if you don't handle your issues in private, it's going to show up in public. That's what's going to always happen to you in life. Now, for regular people, yeah, it happens to you in public. It's just you're not Will Smith. You
right.
don't have like 80 cameras on you. You know what I mean? No one's going to see you. You know what I mean? Like almost stab your ex. You know what I mean? No one's gonna see you. You know what I mean? Bust open some tires. You
Not
can,
yet.
you know what I mean? No one's gonna see you do a whole bunch of things, and you can lie about it, and you can go on in your life and not mention it, and so on and so forth. That's what regular people do. But when you're working at that level, let's also keep it a blunt. When you're working at that level, of course he has an ego. Like nobody gets $350 million, then you don't have an ego. On
Right.
some level, you're a narcissist. On some level, you're a narcissist. You have to believe you're a god in order to say to yourself, I'm gonna pull off over $250 million. You know what I mean? Like you have to believe that. And we also have to understand, I'll bring another point up. To your point, you were saying that people look at these celebrities and they don't look at them as regular people. They look at them as gods in a bit. You watch the show The Boys?
Yes, I love that show.
Now, here's the irony of The Boys. I love it also. Here's the irony of The Boys. You know, these people on the outside, they put these heroes on these pedestals and so on and so forth. But behind, the scenes, they're fucked up. They're people. They're absolutely fucked up. But the only reason why they're putting them on these pedestals is because they can't do the shit that those people that regular people, do. You know what I mean? There's that thin line. You know what I mean? Homelander can fly. He can do all this crazy shit. He's a piece of shit. You know what I mean? Behind the scenes, but he's not a regular person. A regular person is barbecues on Saturdays and slow Sundays and hated Mondays. That's a regular person. Okay, a regular
Oh,
person is.
I love this. I love this comment. I don't know, I don't know if JB is still in here, but I love this comment. JB says, funny how that trauma never stopped him from making millions. No, it did not, did it? It
No, it
did
didn't. Sometimes people actually use their trauma to actually make millions. You know what I mean? Most musicians do that. You know what I mean? And to sit here and say that, let's also say R. Kelly. People can't let go of him because this guy has created these songs and these works that have been the soundtrack to their lives, and he's done things that they can't do. When you do things that regular people can't do,
Mhm.
people just hold you to a different standard.
Mhm.
They just hold you to a sadly, and
Mhm.
this should not be the case. But people just hold people to a different standard when we as human beings, we have this idea about talent and abilities and so on and so forth. Since it's so scarce, you know what I mean? We tend to put people on pedestals, and it's sad. And yes, and I will agree. I've heard many a story about many a person in the industry, you know what I mean? And it's not my place either to drag people and expose people. But sometimes you gotta just look at people and just become fascinated with their perceptions of these people who are just really regular pieces of shit behind closed doors. Now,
Right.
look, listen. I say this to say I'm not gonna sit here and be self-righteous now, okay? All right. I'm a narcissist in somebody's story. I'm pretty sure, okay? I have enough exes. I'm pretty sure I'm a narcissist to somebody. You know what I mean? I'm pretty sure I'm a piece of shit to a couple of women. You know what I mean? It is what it is. If you date enough women, if you live long enough, you're going to be a piece of shit to somebody. You know what I mean? But what I sit here and I will never say, like, yeah, I intentionally did anything to somebody. Like I intended to railroad people in order to get to the next level. You know what I mean? So it
Mhm.
is what it is.
Now, what did you think about the apology though? Like when you watched it, did you notice
I didn't
that
think
he
it was
barely
necessary.
mentioned Chris Rock?
I didn't think it was necessary.
Me neither.
Honestly, I thought honestly at this point in time it was just kind of like, oh, just let it go. Because my thing is like, if you weren't gonna, if you already had a window to do this.
A
If you
what?
didn't take a, you already had a window. He already had a window to actually sit there and actually apologize. Like if you're gonna do this like months afterwards, and you got the seagulls and the harps playing and all this other crazy wild shit. You know what I mean? It's like, come on, man. It's like you turned it into a movie or a production. You know what I mean? And shit and shit like that. You got lighting, you got the boom mic. You know what I mean? It's like, come on, man. I'd rather you just grab your phone, sit down on the couch, and press record and go live and say, hey man, this is what it is, blah blah blah, so on and so forth, and stick to the fact that you understand what you did was incorrect. And these are the reasons why it's incorrect. And it is what it is. Now, I'm not gonna, rest on Will Smith too hard. Like I said, he has enough millions to go on and go forth. He'll be okay. Chris will be okay. Everybody could. Look, man, you got Ezra Miller out here breaking into people's houses, kidnapping kids. You know what I mean? And the Warner Brothers has yet to, fire this guy. So it's just like, celebrities are out here just running amok, doing whatever they want without any kind of approach. And overall, my point that I just want to say how I feel about the apology, I just felt that it was unnecessary. And I'm tired of talking about it. Because now it's just like, okay, now we got to repeat the cycle of people talking about this shit again. And everybody's got to share their opinions again. And then we
And
got
the
to go
picture
through
and
this.
that slap picture, the slap
Yeah,
picture is circulating.
right,
And
right, right. And it's kind of like, oh God, we were almost away from it. It was almost over. Now we got to go through another 4 or 6 months of this shit. And it's just
I'm like,
like,
I'm ready for Wakanda forever. And now all
right,
over my
exactly,
timeline, all over my timeline
exactly,
is the Will Smith slap again.
exactly. So it's just kind of like, oh. It's like it's over. Just let it go. But it's not because I'm pretty sure this is going to be YouTube fodder for the next 3, 4 months, and Jada's going to be is she a 3 or 4 or not for the next couple of months. You know what I mean? It's just It's just enough already. It's just enough, man.
I'm looking through my comments, but Tristan, what you saying about me? Tristan's always getting on me because I'm like all thumbs with this technology shit. I agree with Jay Breezy. Everyone has some form of alopecia, to be honest. It's not AIDS. She shaved her head. There's a difference. That's what I said too. She was not bald. I just don't like the somebody said August, just saying. I just don't like the it still seems like he's putting the blame on Chris Rock. And I'm like, are you doing that on purpose? Do you not have people in your corner? Do you just have a bunch of yes people in your corner? That's what it sounds like to me.
Well, of course. I mean, it's kind of like saying, like, yo, man, I apologize for you being in the way when I punched you in the face. I apologize. Your jaw was there when I swung on you. But if your jaw wasn't there, we wouldn't be here right now. You know what I mean? So we kind of both in the wrong. You understand? You know what I mean? So that's what it kind of sounds like. You know what I mean?
And I got into it with this white chick on Instagram, and she has alopecia. Like she ain't got eyebrows. She got her head is like baby ass soft, nothing, right? And she tried that shit. Now everybody's talking about my condition. And I was like, fuck off, because if you think it's okay for this black man to assault another black man so people can know you're bald-headed, fuck off. Because that's not how you bring awareness to a condition. And let's be clear, a fucking condition that's not fucking terminal illness.
I'll tell you one thing, man.
Alopecia is literally like acne. It's a fucking skin condition that some people may find unsightly, but you go on with your life. It's like Jay Breezy said, it's not AIDS. It's not terminal. It's not a 5-year-old with cancer. It's not. My cousin had it. And we were like, what's wrong with you? He was just a cousin with no fucking eyebrows. We were like, okay, let's go outside. We don't care.
I'll tell you one thing, man. Don't give a white woman an opportunity to make anybody feel sorry for her. She will run that shit into the dirt.
I was like, girl, bye. So you bald-headed.
She said she ain't had no eyebrows?
No, she got nothing. I'll send you the link.
Oh shit.
No, she got nothing. She actually has these little stickers that she uses, and they're different versions of eyebrows, and she sticks them on, and she has a bunch of wigs. And she was trying that shit, like, oh well, now there's alopecia awareness. Why I don't understand. That's like saying now there's acne awareness. Now you know we get pimples. I don't understand. It's sweat awareness. Now I go to the gym, I was sweating, and I want y'all to know we need to make awareness for sweat, because human beings sweat. That's how stupid they sound. We don't have to know you have alopecia. We don't have to know.
He and that woman got to sit down and have a conversation, though, man. Or he got to figure something out, man. Well, he's not. They gonna die together.
Yeah, and it's like they're like, fine, be toxic. There are a lot of toxic, you know what I mean? We grew up in the hood. There's a lot of toxic couples, fucking neighbors fighting and fucking and throwing things out the window and fighting. Be that. But don't freaking throw it out to the world and think we're supposed to, my dad hit my mom, and and I got this trauma. I'm gonna disappoint people. Really? Is that what the trauma resulted in? You not disappointing people?
I mean, and it's another thing too that I'm sure that gets under his skin, is the fact that Jada just can't let go of Tupac, man.
It's so ridiculous. It's so ridiculous. And honestly, I agree, CC. It says sometimes it takes time to process and reflect to give a genuine apology. I totally agree. It doesn't take 3 months.
No, no, it does not.
It doesn't take 3 months. Not in my opinion. Not when it's constantly rotating online and you're constantly seeing it. Okay. My opinion, I don't think it takes 3 months for what he did, for that. Especially because he's not connected to Chris Rock, right? It's not like when you hurt somebody you love, right? Or somebody close to you is like, yo, I really got to process. Why would I hurt somebody like that I love? He's not connected to Chris Rock. That should have been immediate. That should have been like, shit. But because everybody ran to Will, like, oh, Will, what did that mean comedian say about the scallywag you brought to the? Oh, I'm sorry, Jay.
I think that what happened was that I do understand that.
Listen, a lot of people coming in and out. Hit a like on my video, por favor. You know, it helps with the algorithm. Go ahead, Haran.
There was a particular section of the apology that I understood what he was saying, and it lends to the point of what I was saying about the reason why you should take care of your issues in private. He was basically saying that within that moment, he was so frustrated by a number of things he blacked out. Now,
oh yeah, he said he was in a fog when he asked why didn't he apologize to Chris Rock? He was like he was in a fog, right?
Now I've been there. Okay, I've been in moments where it's just like things happen so fast because you didn't deal with something, and in your life, and you're frustrated, and you're trying to bury it, and then something else happens, and shit happens so fast, and then before you know it, somebody's laid out on the ground. You're like, oh shit, how do I explain this one? You know what I mean? And you're kind of like, and it happens so fast because it's like something took over you. It's like something took over you, and you're watching yourself do something, and you're like, what the hell? But you see, the point that I'm trying to make is that this is the reason why you deal with shit, so you don't have to go through that. Mm-hmm. There's plenty of man locked up right now because of that same shit. Because of that same shit. He has some shit he was dealing with. He refused to deal with it at that moment in time. He goes outside, probably has a few drinks, blah, 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 gets into it with somebody, probably tried to walk away, then said, fuck it, and then boom, 30 years. Mm-hmm. You got to deal with your issues, man. Yeah, okay, you got Trump.
Here's what confuses me, right? Because I understand being in a fog, and Lord knows I understand blacking out on somebody. Mm-hmm. But when he came down and he was crying as he was accepting his award.
Yeah, I wasn't feeling that shit. I wasn't
apologizing to everybody. He automatically felt remorse for apologizing to everybody in the audience. How do you not throw in the man that you just assaulted? That's why I call cap. That's why I call bullshit. Because it's not like you were in a fog throughout the thing and you're like, yo, I blacked out. What the fuck? He came down enough to cry and apologize to the audience.
Right.
But not to Chris Rock. And even in that 5-minute apology, he barely mentions Chris Rock. When to me, that's all you should have been mentioning. Man to man, I am talking to you. This is what I did to you. I acknowledge what I did to you. I'm going to hold myself accountable. I'm not blaming my trauma. I'm not blaming my mama. I'm not blaming my wife. Me and you.
Wait a minute. Wait a minute. He did that on a YouTube channel, right?
He did that on a YouTube channel, yes. And on his Instagram.
So that means he can monetize that.
Absolutely.
It's video.
It's at 1 million spins. That's definitely monetized.
Oh boy. I mean, it is what it is, man. It is what it is.
That shit is monetized.
Gonna go get him a quick bag. Go out the back door, Be like, Chris, I'll holler.
Let me tell you, here's how I would have respected him. And to me, it's so simple. It's like, yo, don't you have friends? Don't you have family? Let's say I was his friend.
No. At that point, at that level, you ain't got no more fucking friends.
Gotta
at that
be.
level, you ain't got no more.
What I would have told him to do, because I don't know, he plays stupid a lot. In my opinion, like he plays dumb, like he dumbs up.
So you see, you acting like you'd be a friend. Yeah, you'd be a friend, and guess what? Yeah. He'd got rid of you. He'd got rid of you.
Probably.
He'd got rid of you a long time ago. No, when you at that level, no, you got no friends. Right. Everybody's sipping the Kool-Aid. Everybody's sipping the fucking Kool-Aid when you worth $350 million. Even your mom is like, oh no, baby.
You can look at Chris Brown's mother.
Yeah, no, baby, it'll be okay. It'll be all right.
No. I mean, I had a friend who passed away who's very dear to me, who was very well known in the business. Don't have to say his name. But
yeah.
He even told me, he was like, yo, the one thing I love about you is that you don't give a fuck. You're gonna tell me what you think. And people don't usually do that. I mean, I had this man rolling up to the South Bronx and sitting with me on the stoop. Okay.
That's dope, man.
To talk. And people walk by and be like, is that fucking? And I'm like, oh, it's just, yeah, he does this. Right. So if I was Will Smith's friend in the same vein, I would say, this is what you do. It's so fucking simple. It is so fucking simple. Make this statement. I want to speak about this, but I want to respect Chris Rock's privacy and how I violated him. So I'm not going to address it until he finds it in his heart to speak to me. And then I'll move forward from there. I will even ask him, can I apologize publicly? But I don't want to violate him any further. I'm not going to say anything else. I'm sorry you guys want to know more, but I want to respect him. I done violated him enough. When he's ready to talk to me, if ever, I will ask his permission to apologize. That's it. That's it. And that's how it should be. Because that $5 million apology, all he did was opening up that wound. Now the memes are back. Now the slap is back.
Well, what you're saying
still on silent. So you're still kind of like fucking with this man, and he's not ready to talk about it yet. That's what I would say as his friend. That's all you have to say. Stop re-injuring the person.
Well, it's a very logical.
That's relationship 101. How many times have people said to you, I can't talk about it right now. Give me a minute.
Mm-hmm.
Give me a minute. And then we respect that person and give that grace. But he's still like, well, I got these movies coming out. So let me apologize to my fans and talk to them again about my trauma so they could get my book, because my book is all about my trauma. Right? It just looks so insincere, so bullshit. Like sometimes the thing to say is nothing at all.
Well, that's a very logical and a very sincere perspective. But as I said before, when you're moving at that level, you have to understand there's no Will or William Smith anymore. There is Will Smith the machine, and there's a whole bunch of people around him advising him to do things based on their personal needs. They need to make sure the Will Smith brand comes out, unscathed, because we still got this money to make, baby. We still got these movies to push, and the perspective that you're bringing to the table, that sounds like something that might hurt his brand a little bit, even though it's the truth, even though it's sincere. We still got it. Ain't about sincerity. It's not about It's not about being sincere at that point. It's about the narrative when you're dealing with that kind of money. And it's always about damage control, and he's in damage control. That's why he's got the lighting and the boom mic and the harps playing.
And that lens. Let me tell you, I worked for a lens company one time. I'm like, they got them $35 lens, and then they make you look like Michael Jackson.
Oh, that lens was amazing. I was like, oh shit, they brought out the Spend some money on this.
So full of shit. Is Blood Moon still in the room? Because I want to address this. It's so important. I love is Blood Moon still here? I hope Blood Moon is still here so I can address this real quick. Because this is regarding my little part of my monologue earlier. I have never heard any Hispanics not allowing their kids to wet their hair when you go to the pool or the beach. That is false, honey. You're looking at a Hispanic that used to always think, I'm not going to wet my fucking hair because I don't want to jump out of the pool and have a whole fucking afro. Also, my Dominican stylist, she wraps her kids' hair 3 different ways when they go to the pool because she doesn't want to deal with their hair. So Hispanics go all the way from white Ricky Martin to Amara la Negra. And when you have thicker, coarser hair, yes, our parents will say, do not wet your hair. I know I grew up not wanting to wet my hair. Now I give no rat's asses. I wet my hair. But yes, you probably haven't heard the Hispanics with the dead hair. I call them deadheads. You probably haven't heard the deadheads say that to their kids. But the ones that are more Afrocentric, okay, the ones with the African ancestry, yeah, we on that don't wet your hair shit too. I grew out of it because I was like, fuck it. There are people who are dead right now that wish they can get wet. So I'm just living and I'm living out loud. But yes, Hispanics, yeah, they on that don't wet your hair shit too. I just wanted to say that really quickly. If Blood Moon is still in the room, I just wanted to let you know. Yeah, so yeah, I just don't think, I'll drop the link one more time for the last 15 minutes before I close because I don't want to do 3 hours tonight, though I love talking to y'all. 50 more minutes of roundabout because I don't want to go over 2 hours. So if you want to come up really quickly and y'all want to you know what I mean, kick it with us for the next 15 minutes. I can't do 3 hours tonight. Mama gotta cook. I got some
I will say one thing. Well, Chris is throwing this shit in his act, so it's like he making money off this shit. So everybody's making money. Everybody's pimping it. Everybody's pimping the situation. You know, I mean,
but the only thing is that Chris, he's forced to.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I will say that.
He's forced to. Like, he did make that statement, his first stage appearance. Remember, he said, I know what y'all want to hear about, but I got a whole routine I wrote before that incident happened. And that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to do my routine. So he had to address it, but it was by force. And I don't know. I just feel so like, I don't know. I feel terrible for him. I do.
I mean, the photo of that just kind of is.
If he would have lost, I wish he would have hit him back.
I mean,
I wish he would, even if he would have lost, like, I wish he would have hit him back. When he turned around, like, yeah, I wish he would have ran up on him and bah, like right in the back of his head. Just, you know what I'm saying? Even if he would have lost, at least we would have been like, yo, there was a fight at the Oscars, not Chris got slapped like a bitch at the Oscars.
I mean, it would have been rather funny, like, if when he walked off, if Chris, like, ran at him.
Hit him with the mic. Okay, the mic drop heard around the world. And let me tell you, I met Tony Rock, okay? Amazing gentleman, but Tony's with the shits.
I mean, I heard.
Tony is with the shits, okay? Had he had the audacity to put hands on Tony, there would have been a fucking melee, okay? I met Tony at a football charity event. I was there with my girls. We were standing in our little gowns. It was a sickle cell anemia charity event in Baltimore, matter of fact. And we were standing there in our little gowns, like, oh my God. And like the whole football team was there. So you can imagine groupies coming down off the ceilings and the chandeliers, sneaking under the tables. It was sick. People twerking. Everybody's like trying to perform for the football players. Woo woo. Me and my girls are there in our gowns, like, oh, okay. And Tony Rock was sitting down, and there was like a bench with a bunch of people sitting. And he stood up. He was like, "You want to sit down?" And I was like, "No, I'm good because I'm with my girls and I don't want to be the only one sitting." And he was like, "Oh, not a problem." He was like, move down. And they were all like, he moved that whole road, that whole beeline, so me and my girls could sit down. And it's funny because you could tell the people that was sitting there were like, "Oh, we with Tony Rock," and he was like, "I don't give," like he literally was like, I don't give a fuck." Like
Right.
he was like, "Move over, y'all can move," and then we all sat down. I was like, so Tony's a G. He's like, I said what I said. So
he wanted to fight Will.
I know he did want to fight Will, but Will put that out there that they were boys, and he feels bad about Tony Rock, and he knows it may be irreparable. To me, his apology to Tony Rock again was more detailed and more sincere than his apology to Chris Rock. Like, what is his issue with Chris Rock? It still looks like he has that thing.
I think they do have something. I think something
Jada
is there.
call his name out? Did Jada call his name out one time during sex? Did Jada say he was funnier than Will?
I mean,
what is it?
I think there is something. Because he's. I think they've shown footage of Chris making jokes about Jada a few times. You know what I mean, and so on. So I don't know if Will kind of got tired of it. I don't know, but there seems to be something bubbling.
But here's the thing that because I know people were saying that too. That's a great point. Like, oh, he's always had jokes on Jada. He also worked with Jada. They got along famously. They've been on interviews together, King, right? But I think Jada, this is the thing that happens with these type of women. They resent the man that they stayed with despite not wanting to be with them, right? They resent the man. And then they like to see that man. It's a weird dynamic where it's like now everything bothers that woman, right? Because Will Smith did laugh. He laughed at the joke. Then she did her little rolling eyes. Then he ran up there. So those women, they become problematic wherever they go. Like, oh, you think he's funny? Oh, you think she's cute? Oh, you think, because they're miserable. And if you notice, Jada Smith, as wealthy as she is, she's a very dark person. Like, you go to her Instagram, she's still talking about, like, she'll post a picture, right? And the fucking caption will read, "When you go to the tunnel and you see the light." Bitch, what tunnel? What end? You're in a fucking mansion. You're wealthy. Your manicures cost $500. Shut the fuck up already. What is
she's in a metal band? She's in a metal band?
Yes, it was horrible.
Yeah, the band is horrible.
It's terrible. That metal band she's in, Willow something, some shit.
I forgot.
But I'm like, she's such a dark, miserable. She's like a dark person. You know how you have people around you and they're happy and they're light, and it's like you feel their energy. She's like, everything is so dark and deep and weird and so dark and Tupac and dark and tunnel. And
Tupac.
World and the entanglement and Tupac and mothers and drugs and what happens and Snoop Dogg and Tupac. We're sick of you. Tupac is sick of you in the next life.
I think Tupac hit it.
He's in Cuba.
I don't think Tupac hit it. I think she was just on his.
Tupac is here. He's alive. He's with Asada.
I think that she was just on his dick.
I think so too.
I think she was just on his dick, and Tupac just.
I think she wanted to hold that over Will because it's the one thing she had, knowing that. He spun the block on me.
That's kryptonite. That's the kryptonite right there. And anytime she needs to break it out.
She knows that's his insecurity. Think about it. If you know your man's insecurity is not being taken seriously or having street clout or being like a thug and women if you know that's his insecurity, why are you going on interview after interview after motherfucking interview talking about Tupac, and that wasn't even your man? And if it was, he never claimed it. You don't have no children with him, and you know that's your husband's insecurity to the point where he's on Breakfast Club talking about, I couldn't be in the same room with Tupac. I was mad. You know that's his insecurity, yet you keep saying it over and over and over a fucking again.
I think she also said at interview, she was implying that Will makes love like a woman in bed, something to that
Right.
effect. It's very soft in bed, and
She wants to get choked out. I keep
I
telling the
mean,
guys,
hey, look, listen, man. You gotta. I mean, come on, she's from B more, man. She wants to get thrown around a couple of places.
that ain't none.
She wants to,
Um,
she wants to get.
we'll see. I don't know. We'll see what happens. I think that they shouldn't speak. I think it's over. It's done. It's cool. It's done. It's done. And I think Will had to do that because he has these movies coming out. And they put a lot of money into it. $35 million they gave him for that slavery picture.
Oh yeah, they gotta make sure that investment comes back.
And he
Yeah,
has
like
two
I,
things against him with that slavery movie. One, people are sick of slavery movies. So he has that working against him. And he has this
mhm.
Oscar slap working against him. So that apology was necessary. And I think because it was necessary, it should have been better acted. You're an actor. Act.
I'm glad people are really sick of slavery movies. I've been sick of them shits for like 10 years now. I've been really sick of them for like 10 years. It's like, come on already, all right, enough. I mean, the subjugation and the whole thing. It's like it was like it was like every 2 or 3 years they just reminded black people like, hey, remember when you were niggers? Like, you know what I mean? Like Hollywood would just like always do that shit. Like, you know what I mean? Hey, remember? Hey, I remember. Like, you know what I mean? Like they would just do that shit, and it was just annoying, man.
Yeah, I'm like, no. So, all right, guys, I'm gonna close out. Please hit that like and subscribe, share if you like. Come back mañana. Thank you so much, ladies, for handling the wrenches and the ratchets in the chat. Blood Moon said they should make a movie about white slaves. That's the last comment to leave on. Hit that like and subscribe if you haven't already. Hit the notification bell so you know when I'm going live because there are millions of people going live. You may miss me. Thank you for holding it down for me. I will be back. I just had to get this off my little chest because I saw the apology and I was like, wah, wah, wah. But I hope that, you know what I mean? I hope Chris Rock heals. That's what I hope. I hope Chris Rock.
I will say this though.
I know that was devastating for a couple of reasons. I hope he heals and moves on. Okay,
I hope the best for Will Smith also though. I hope the best for Will Smith. I mean, he ain't shot nobody, man. He ain't like you
That's
said. He
fair.
ain't molest no kid. He ain't molest no kids. He had a very poor. Had a poor situational judgment. You know what I mean? He ain't technically just do something that's like just unrepairable and apprehensive. You know what I mean? Just
I give you
disgusting.
that.
You know
I
what I
give you
mean?
that. I
So
agree. I agree.
you
I
know what I
give you
mean?
that. I agree.
He'll be okay. He'll be okay. He needs to just work some shit out, man. He needs to figure some
I
shit out.
agree. I'll give you that. Right? We don't hate him. I give you that.
Right.
I just think that his issues are way bigger than that Oscar incident. That marriage is toxic. They both admitted it.
Yeah.
They both gave a bad marriage for life. It is a bad marriage. That at least acknowledge that it's a bad marriage. And I think that's his issue. I think he has to break free from that. It's a bad marriage. They both admit it. I think he should break free, and I think he'll be better off for it. And Jada will continue being the little cloud that she is in her world, and he can go on bungee jump and skydive and do Will because that's what Will is. We follow him on Instagram, right? That's what
Right.
Will does. Jada could talk about dark tunnels, on her Instagram and Tupac, right? And Will could go bungee jump. You know what I mean? C'est la vie. All right, guys. So we are out of here. Good night. Thank you so much. I gotta go cook. It's
Good
only
night.
Good night. All right, guys, that was it. Thank you so much for being here. You already know, hit that like and subscribe on your way out. On the Block with Jen everywhere, on Instagram, on TikTok, at Gmail, okay, on Facebook. If you guys want to contact me there about anything, don't waste my time because I am busy and I have a very short fucking nerve. But if you got something important to say, I'm open. All right, guys. So that's it. Good night. Thank you. And if you haven't seen the apology, feel free to check it out on my community tab. I posted it there. Bye, JB. Bye, Fulana La Cubana. Bye, G. He. Bye, guys. Good night. Hassan, yeah, I know he's on. I'll give it a peek if I have time. All right, guys. I'm out.